Welcome to Lively Lewis Stories.
Buckle up, because you're about to join Levi and Ivy on an adventure.
All you need is your imagination, and off we go!
Lively Lewis Stories!
Levi was playing in his room when he heard his dad laughing in the living room. Levi loved a good joke, and after the laughing went on for a minute or two, he decided to see what was so funny. "Hey, Dad," Levi said as he walked into the living room. "What are you laughing at?" Levi's dad was sitting on the couch watching TV and didn't hear Levi at first. "Hey, Dad," Levi called out again. That got his attention, and he paused the TV with a huge smile on his face. "Sorry, buddy, I didn't see you there," replied his dad. "I was just watching an old TV show that I used to watch with my grandparents when I was your age. It's really old. It's from the 1950s, but it's still so funny." Levi loved TV and was always up for watching a new show, especially if it was funny. So even though it was made a million years ago, as far as he was concerned, he sat down with his dad to take a look. "I'm so happy you want to check it out," said Levi's dad. "It's called The Lewis Family." That's one reason why my grandparents really liked it. We share the same last name as the family on the show. And when I would stay at their house, we would watch the reruns together and laugh all night. Levi settled onto the couch and was excited to see what the show was all about. As soon as his dad unpaused the show, Levi noticed something unusual. "Dad, what's wrong with the TV?" asked Levi. "There's no color in the picture. It's just black and white." Levi's dad laughed. "There's nothing wrong with our TV. Back in the 1950s, television shows were in black and white. Color TVs were just starting to come out, but wouldn't be really popular until the 1960s. Levi was very surprised, but kept an open mind and was ready to meet the Lewis family. The first character on the screen was the dad. He was silly and a bit of a klutz. In the episode Levi and his dad were watching, he was trying to help his wife with some gardening, but instead flooded pretty much the whole backyard with water. Then he tripped over a rake and landed in it. "Well, we may have lost the garden, but we gained a swimming pool," said the dad as he pretended to swim in the big puddle. Levi and his dad laughed and laughed along with the studio audience. "I'm so glad you like it, Levi," said his dad. "They're running a marathon of the show today, which means they play every episode and it takes the entire day. Are you up for watching with me?" "Absolutely!" exclaimed Levi between giggles. "Let's get to the next one." In the second episode, Levi was introduced to the mom on the show. She was sweet, kind, and understanding. She always made giant meals for her family that they never seemed to eat. She loved planting flowers, reading, and always had time to help her kids with their homework or help her husband out of the latest situation he got himself into. Like the time he wore 2 different shoes to work because he was so focused on his big presentation, and the mom had to swoop in and switch them out before his boss noticed. Levi and his dad didn't leave the couch all afternoon. They just laughed together and enjoyed episode after episode of The Lewis Family. There were 2 main characters on the show that definitely were Levi's favorites. The first being the little sister. She was curious and happy all the time. She had a wonderful imagination and loved animals. In episode 19, she thought it would be best to let a squirrel she met earlier that day into the house during a thunderstorm so he wouldn't be scared. Well, you can imagine that her mom and dad were not too excited about that and spent the entire episode trying to figure out a way to get a very mischievous squirrel out of their house. But the person who finally saved the day in that episode was the big brother. He made a squirrel trap out of a shoebox and a peanut butter cookie and caught their furry little friend in no time. Once the squirrel was back outside, the big brother suggested cookies for everyone after such a hectic day. "That sounds like something I would do," laughed Levi, grabbing a cookie off a plate that his mom had just brought into the living room. The big brother was funny, curious, and always up for an adventure. He loved comic books and listening to mystery shows on the family radio. "You two have been watching this show for hours. Do you think there's something else you'd like to do today?" asked Levi's mom. "Not really," answered Levi's dad. "I'm having some quality TV bonding time with my son. Levi really likes this show, and there's only a few more episodes left." Levi's mom did think it was cute how they were bonding over the TV show, so she let him keep watching. The Lewis family marathon stretched out into the early evening, and now Levi was getting tired. He yawned as they continued to watch, but his dad could tell Levi was getting tired because he was getting tired too.
Just one more episode, and then we'll go to bed,
said Levi between yawns. Sounds good to me, replied his dad, grabbing a big blanket and putting it over himself and Levi. As soon as the next episode started, Levi fell fast asleep. But it only seemed like a few minutes passed before he was woken up by a loud noise. It sounded like something falling onto the floor in the kitchen. Levi jumped up from the couch and ran in to see what happened. It was then that Levi noticed something very unusual. "Mom, what was that noise?" asked Levi as he ran into the kitchen. "Don't worry, honey. I just dropped a pan while making breakfast." And as she turned around, that's when he finally noticed it. She looked very, very different. Still like his mom, just different. "Mom," Levi called out, "are you feeling okay? Your skin is like totally gray." "Whatever are you talking about, darling? It must be those silly comic books you're reading. What an imagination you have," she said with a laugh. But it wasn't Levi's imagination. Her skin was gray, and as Levi looked around a little more, he noticed everything else was too, including him. "Everything is black and white," thought Levi to himself. "Like in the Lewis family. Oh my goodness, am I in an episode of the Lewis family right now?" Levi didn't have time to process what he was thinking before his dad walked into the kitchen. Or should I say, slid into the kitchen. "Watch out, honey. I just waxed the floor. It's a bit slippery," said Levi's mom. "No problem, sweetheart," said Levi's dad as he slid across the floor. "I always wanted an ice rink in the house." Just then, Levi heard another noise, but it wasn't someone dropping a pan. It was people laughing. A lot of people laughing. That's when Levi turned around to notice that there was a giant TV studio audience sitting in what he thought was his house. But as he looked around, and the more he saw, he was standing in a giant studio. And the kitchen he was in, along with the rest of the rooms around him, were just a set. "What is going on here?" Levi shouted. He couldn't keep that question in his head and thought by asking it out loud that someone would be able to answer it. "What are you talking about, buddy?" asked Levi's dad, getting up from the slippery kitchen floor. "Do you not see the audience or hear that laughing or see the TV set we're on?" Levi asked, getting all worked up. "Levi, I think you've been reading too many comic books or listening to too many mystery shows on the radio," replied his dad. "This kid and his imagination." Levi was getting a little frustrated with everyone just assuming he was using his imagination to make all of this up. He decided he would have to figure this out himself. But as he turned to leave, his mom told him to sit down for breakfast. That's when Levi noticed the huge amount of food on the table. Pancakes, French toast, eggs, bacon, sausage, fruit salad, and bagels? What is all of this? Is my whole baseball team planning on stopping by for breakfast? Asked Levi. The laughter started again, and the studio audience reacted to Levi, and it made him feel good. He liked making people laugh and started to get a little more comfortable with the whole situation. I guess if my life is a 1950s television show, I should just get used to it and enjoy it, Levi thought to himself. After only eating a few eggs, Ivy walked in. At least it kind of looked like Ivy. She was wearing a ruffled dress and fancy shoes, which is strange because Ivy loved to be comfortable and was always wearing t-shirts, shorts, and sneakers. "Nice outfit," Levi giggled. "Mom, Levi's making fun of my dress," said Ivy as she put a slice of French toast on her plate. Levi thought to himself, why does everybody sound like that? Oh well. "Not like your outfit is any better," she whispered to Levi. That's when Levi looked down and realized that he was wearing pleated tan pants and a short sleeve button-up shirt. And it was tucked in. "Levi, be nice to your sister," said his mom as she stood at the stove making more eggs. "Mom, seriously, who is going to eat all of this stuff?" asked Levi, barely able to see her over the giant stack of pancakes.
Well, I'm gonna try,
said his dad, grabbing the whole plate of French toast and putting it in front of himself. The studio audience loved that and started laughing harder and harder as Levi's dad poured an entire bottle of syrup on the pile of French toast. Levi couldn't help but laugh too. Being in the Lewis family was pretty fun, and he wanted to see what else was going to happen in the episode. After breakfast, Ivy asked Levi if he wanted to go to play in the backyard. As they stepped into the backyard, the kitchen set got pulled out of the way so the studio audience could see the backyard and follow along with the show. Levi, do you think Mom and Dad would mind if I let the little guy live in the downstairs bathroom? Ivy asked as she picked up a plastic beach pail to reveal a baby turtle. The studio audience let out a big, "Aww," and so did Levi. I think they'd be fine with it, said Levi. I'll go fill up the tub. Levi ran inside and turned on the tub faucet. He figured it would take a while to fill up and ran back outside to play with Ivy. But they really got into a game of tag and both forgot about the tub. Well, it didn't take long for their mom to notice as a steady stream of water flowed from underneath the bathroom door into the hallway. Levi! Ivy! Their mom called out. As soon as they heard her voice, they knew why she was calling them. The tub! They both said together. The studio audience laughed and applauded as they ran inside to find their mom standing in the bathroom in a huge puddle of water next to a totally filled tub. Levi and Ivy, I'm really disappointed in this behavior, said their mom. Look at this mess. The studio audience let out a collective ooh as Levi started to apologize. Sorry, Mom. Ivy wanted to keep a baby turtle she found as a pet, and I said I'd fill the tub, but then I forgot about it because we were playing tag. I'll help clean up, said Levi, looking sad. Thank you, honey, for telling the truth. Now grab some towels and help me clean up this water, replied his mom. But as Levi turned to leave the bathroom, his dad came walking down the hall reading the newspaper. He didn't see the puddle and took a classic Lewis dad fall. The audience laughed harder and harder as he tried to get up but kept slipping. What is going on here? He asked, looking confused and holding a very soggy newspaper. Well, Dad, I knew how much you liked the outdoor pool you made in the backyard when you were helping Mom with her gardening, so I thought I'd make us an indoor one too, said Levi. That got the biggest studio audience laugh of the episode as Levi sat down in the puddle with his dad and pretended to be swimming. Levi helped clean up and thought it was fun to be a part of the Lewis family. The show. He missed his real Lewis family and a lot of other things about living in the 21st century too. Like video games, his regular clothes, normal breakfast, and his favorite modern TV shows. Levi was tired after helping clean up all the water and decided to sit down on the couch and take a rest. And in no time at all, he was fast asleep. Once again, it felt as if he was only asleep for a few minutes when he woke up. Levi, time to head up to bed, buddy, said his dad. We both fell asleep during that last episode, and it's getting late. Levi jumped up from the couch and looked around at his clothes and his dad and all around the house. No button shirt? No TV set? No weird accents? No studio audience? Exclaimed Levi with a big smile. I'm back home, and it's not all black and white. Levi, what are you talking about? I think you've been watching too many videos online, said his dad. You and your imagination. Levi was so happy to be back that he gave his dad a big hug. Dad, I love watching the Lewis family with you, but I'm glad this is the Lewis family that I get to live with all the time. I'm glad too, buddy, said Levi's dad, sounding a little confused. Let's get you to bed. I think you need a good night's sleep, and maybe tomorrow we can watch the episode we missed. I think you'd really like it. It's the one where the older brother accidentally floods the hallway when he goes to fill the downstairs bathroom tub so his sister can keep a pet turtle in the house. Levi stopped in his tracks and looked at his dad. You know what? Maybe we just give the TV watching a break for a little bit. How about we do some work in the garden tomorrow? Sure, said Levi's dad as he started to laugh. Maybe we can put a swimming pool like they did on the Lewis family. Levi laughed too as he walked upstairs with his dad. And this time it was only him laughing and not a huge studio audience. Did you learn a lesson from this story?
If so, what was it?
And parents, do your kids have a story idea?
Leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, the idea, and your kid's name for a chance to join Levi and Ivy on their next adventure. Until next time.
Thanks for listening. Come back for more.